Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in a resourceful feeling of relaxation. And as you exhale, just get a sense that tension, stress, and worry are leaving your body in your outward breath. As you breathe in and breathe out, if it's safe to do so, on the next outward breath, allow your eyelids to close. And in closing, notice that you can give more of your focused attention to the sound of my voice, enabling you to go deeper and deeper, relaxed. Allow any tension in your body around your neck, your shoulders, your eyes, your temple to just melt away. Release that unnecessary tension now. I want you to imagine that you are in a beautiful garden. And I want you to imagine that the trees, the plants that are in this garden represent your belief systems, what you believe to be true. And there was a point in time where you didn't believe these things because the seed of inception hadn't been planted. And if you were to go back into time and never plant that seed, then you would never have that future belief. And lots of your beliefs influence the way that you see and experience the world. We know a belief is a belief because you hold it to be true. You act as if it's true. I want you to imagine the size of your garden is proportionate to your current level in your life. And I want you to imagine that your garden could expand. I want you to imagine there is neighbouring land to your garden that has no trees, no plants. And I want you to imagine that you are about to plant seeds of ideas that could become beliefs in your garden. Imagine walking around this empty land neighbouring your garden with the belief system that if you were to cultivate this extra land with grass, with trees, with flowers, with plants, then you're expanding your mind. But the quality of your life is proportionate to the quality of your beliefs, and I wonder what would happen if you started planting quality seeds with quality beliefs here in this new space next to your garden. Doesn't it create the possibility of more opportunities, higher standards, experiencing a life of more of what you want? Imagine walking around that empty land, starting to plant seeds. It's easy to have faith everything is going to work out when everything is working out. You see, it's much harder to have faith when you're facing challenges in your life. But that is exactly when you need to apply your faith. Because faith is believing in the unseen. Faith is taking the first step. Faith is jumping in the deep end and knowing everything will be okay. It's easy to be positive when everything is working out, but it's much harder when nothing is working out. But that's when we need it the most. Everything worth the prize is worth the fight. Everything worth the prize will require a real fight to achieve that prize. If you want the prize, you can't quit at halftime. You can't quit mid-season. You must play the whole game, pre-season, through the cold, through darkness, through the challenges and through the opponents. You will be knocked down, of course, but you must get up. Keep fighting. Dig deep and discover your true strength. Then you will win the real prize. Character, expansion, and you rising to the next level. If I can survive the storm, I can outdo the norm. To break through the norm, I must first survive the storms. To have more than most, I must do more than most, believe more than most, learn more than most, sacrifice more than most, believe more than most. Inside your own mind, your inner dialogue, now say to yourself, long term, I know what I need will come my way. Long term, I know if I keep at it, I will be rewarded. Long term, I know consistency pays off. Long term, I know all my actions, all my discipline, all my integrity will pay off in a big way. I have faith everything will work out. In the end, all will be fine if I keep working, if I keep learning, if I continue to evolve, if I continue to adapt, if I learn new ways. Setbacks aren't always negative. Sometimes they send to guide us in a much bigger and better direction. But you can only see that if you show character in those hard times. If you remain open-minded in the hard times. If you show strength through your struggles. Don't say, why me? Ask, how can I come out of this stronger? What can I learn? In the hard times, we see who really has the character. In the hard times, we see what people are really made of. What are you made of? Tell me, what are you made of? Character, expansion, growth, and pride. So keep going. Your future self is begging you. And then imagine walking around this patch of land, feeling like you've planted powerful seeds, empowering seeds. And perhaps the most important seed of all is the idea that you have the resources to exceed challenges, that either you win or you learn, that it won't be easy, but it's worth it. And then imagine that you can speed up time in your mind, and imagine that you are supporting these delicate beliefs, these seeds of ideas, with sunshine and rainwater, and perhaps even plant food to nurture these new seeds. And imagine they all start to take root. Imagine they start growing into beautiful flowers, impressive trees, an immaculate lawn. And then notice what was a small but beautiful garden is now a much larger garden. Maybe this is what leveling up means. Maybe this is what expansion means. I want you to get a sense that these new belief systems change the way that you look at the world, and I want you to imagine what kind of future you can expect. What kind of future you can expect when you do dig deep, when you find that strength that lives inside you, when you trust that if you keep doing your thing, you will be rewarded. And it might not happen right away, it rarely does, but it will happen if you keep going. Those that struggle allow regret to enter their life. It doesn't make sense to look back on your life in 5 years and think, I could have done more if only I stuck it out. I could have been in a much better position. Doesn't it make sense to do what you can today so in the future you can look back with pride? Look back and be able to say to yourself, it wasn't easy, but I am so proud I stuck it out. Because I got my rewards, and sometimes the rewards aren't tangible things. Sometimes they are the character, the wisdom that comes from keep going forward in the face of adversity. So make sure your story is one of strength. Make sure your story is one of someone who refused to give up. Someone who refused to settle. Someone who refused to be normal. Keep going, because your future self is begging you. Imagine going 10 years into the future and meeting your future self, a future self that lived this story of strength, of persistence, of determination, and make a promise to that future self that even if it isn't easy, you will do what you can. And then find yourself back in the present, listening to my voice as I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.